Okay, since we last wrote this program for adding two numbers, this code was given to quality control, which tested this program once more, much more rigorously. Now what they have come out with is certain comments from their side. Some are defects, which have to be taken care of by us, and some are quality assurance, best practices. Okay, now let's look at the defects that have been identified. The numbers can contain zeros as well, but the checking is done against only 1 to 9. And now what we have to do is take it up one by one and correct it. So digits, yes, see, we missed a 0. So this, taking care of this defect is the easiest, I suppose. And here I say done. Okay, significant figures in the results display is not correct. Rounding is based on decimals and not significant figures. Okay, this I think is a little bit more substantial. Okay, what happens if the user enters 2 decimal points? Now just to make sure, let's see. Somebody just put a line without putting a comment. Okay, let's run this. 2 decimal points, 23.3.3, 32.3.3. okay, yes, it is assuming that it is a float, whereas it is not. Okay, now how do we do that? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's, after accepting the first number, we directly check if digits dot find, no, not digits, digits not find count what? The dot, yes, greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, and that means it is not a valid number. So instead of checking for this, we reverse it. So not, and then it can go and do the rest. Okay, now let's see what happens. Could not convert string to float. Okay, let's reverse it back. If it is greater than 1, then first equal to false. Now there is no point in going further. We should directly go for accepting it again. But it would be very helpful to the user if we display some message. So print more than 1 decimal not allowed. And now I don't want the next steps to be carried out, but directly go back to the beginning of the loop. For that I use continue. Okay, let's run this again. What's that? Okay, here I didn't close the bracket. Okay, 23.3.3. 32. Where is this? Oh, there is no point in checking for digits. We should be checking for first num. These are really mistakes. First num dot count. F5 23.3.3. Oh god. Print. So now 23.3.3. More than 1 decimal not allowed. Enter the first name again. So 23.3. Second number. Let's try this again. Now the same thing has to be done for the second number. So we just copy and paste after this, and this second, let's keep it consistent at least. Let's put it in the beginning. Now this should be second num, and this should be second. Now if we run this, okay, second num is not defined, lowercase s. Yes, that additional printing has to be removed. There's no point in displaying this. Okay, so this has been taken care of. Done. The code is unnecessarily complex. Simplify the code. Okay. Repetition of more or less similar code. Yes, I do agree. Comments at the top does not include coverage. Yes, yesterday I had just summarized by saying that we had covered while loop, for loop, find, boolean variable, significant figures. We had also covered if statement and if else statement. Okay. Now the comment about the code is unnecessarily complex, that is there. Second is repetition of more or less similar code. Yes. See, if you look at this, this is more or less very similar to this. Similarly, these two lines are more or less similar to these two lines. Similarly here, so lot of places where we are repeating some code only because of one variable. So what we need to do is do something by which this can be avoided. What do we do? Can we convert this into a function? So just like we call a math function or something like that, a string function. Let's see whether we can do that. So what I'll do is I will convert this. Let's take this. Initially I will not change the existing code. I'll just create a fresh code. Def get number. Now there is no question of first number, second number, right? So, and we are going to get the number. Okay, so let's say is number equal to true. Instead of saying first number, we just say number. Number is number for I in number. If digits dot find I, okay, is number. Decimal 1 equal to true. Now there is no question of 1. So decimal equal to true, decimal equal to false. Finally, when it comes out of the loop, it will return the number. Okay, now what happens here? Okay, no, this digit should also go inside this. So here we don't need this. We just say what? We just call this function. We say first num is equal to get number. Second num is equal to get number. So which means we don't need this as well. Okay, and similarly here also, for these two statements also, we create a separate function. Get significant figures, a def. Def basically stands for define. Okay, so sigfig is equal to, we can just copy this. Sigfig, and finally return sigfig. So now here we can just say get significant figures, but here we have to pass the number significant figures of what, isn't it? So we have to say int number, right? So here we can't, we don't need to use first num, we just say number, a number which has been passed to this function. Okay, significant figures, and we pass the number. No, not number, first num. Similarly here, second num. So we don't need these two. We don't need to do this. Now this we actually pass back. We pass back a number rather than a string. Okay, now what we can do is we have to return the number. So it would be better if we do all this significant figure and converting it into float or int in the function itself. Get significant figures. This also goes here. Okay. If is number, if decimal, then number is equal to float number, else number is equal to int number. So which means we don't have to have all this. So which means our this function, if we leave it out, the actual program would be just 3 lines. First num equal to get number, second num equal to get number. Okay, let's see whether it works. Invalid syntax. Let's okay, so here as well. Now let's run this. What's this? Int number. Okay, here we don't have to specify this. Okay, now let's run this. Yes, so 23.3.3, more than one decimal not allowed. So 23.3, trace back, name first is not defined, name first is, now let's see first, where is it? Oh, so here we just say is number, if is number, break. First number, okay, 23.3. Oh, sig fig 1 is not defined. Where is sig fig number? Sig fig 1 is not defined. Len of, so here this should be sig fig itself. See, first we remove the decimal point and then we remove the left side zeros from that number. Okay, so let's try this again now. 23.3.3 not allowed. 23.32a. Okay. Get significant figures. First num equal to get number. Okay. Here this should be just number, and here this is not required. Okay, now let's see. This should work now. Not allowed. 23.2a. Invalid. Re-enter. Enter the first number. We are still in first number. Now what's happening? Okay, enter the first number. This should not be first. It should be just number. That is 1. Name sig 1 is not defined. Okay, here. Now we require the significant figure for both the numbers. That means we need not only the number but also the significant figures. Now how do we do that? I created a new Python shell so that we can start with a clean slate again. This significant figure 1, significant figure 2. Now we need it for both numbers. But here what is happening is each time we are not actually getting it, although we should get it. So here returning the number should include returning the significant figures. So here significant figures should be stored somewhere. So sig, let's say fig is equal to, and here we have to return it. So we are not only returning the number but also returning the significant figures. Now of course it has to be stored. See, so when we return it here, it will come where? It will come to here. Now it has to be stored in two variables. Yes. So comma sig fig. Similarly comma sig fig. Now let's see whether it works. Okay, it has created another one. Okay, enter the number. So 23.5. Local variable sig fig referenced before assignment. Okay, it should be sig fig 1 and sig fig 2. Now it should work. 23.5. No. Returns. Okay, the problem is here. Okay, this should happen outside the loop, outside the while loop, once we have got the number. Okay. Okay, now let's see whether what happens. 23.3. Sig fig 1 is not defined. Okay, here sig fig 1. So here what is happening? Sig fig, okay, capital letter. This should be capital letter now. Capital letter. Okay, 23.3, 32.7, 56.0. Great. Now let's run it once more. 23.49. Now what's happening? Oh God. Name first num is not defined. Okay, now let's do one thing. Here let's do a search. First. Okay, here this should be just number. Let's again search. Here it is okay, so it should be only here. Now let's run. 2, 3, 4, 5, 43.4. Yes. So here the significant figures are 4 and 3. Here it is giving it as 6. So this is the error that was pointed out here. Significant figures is not correct. So which means we need to have another. See, now you have got the idea of what functions are. User defined functions are. So let's create another user defined function and say set significant figures for a number. So given a number, we have to take it and we have to take another significant figures which has to be. So the number could be any numbers. We have to set it to the appropriate significant figures. So how do we do that? So after doing some research, I found this code. If number is not equal to 0, then return round this number to these decimal places. This is a complicated one. We are taking the absolute value of the number. That means we are removing the negative sign if it is present. We are taking the log 10 of that. Then we are taking the floor of that, and then we are taking the, from this we are subtracting the required significant figures minus 1, and the whole thing we are taking an int of that. Now the reason why we are saying that if it is not equal to 0 is because of this log. So now let's see whether this works. Okay, here's capital F, capital F. Run this again. 0.2345. Let's remove this unnecessary shell. 0.2345, 43.4. Yes. So it is giving us 6 significant figures. Here it is giving us maximum is 4. So which means we need to figure out what is being sent. Maximum of sigfig 1, sigfig. Okay, it has actually not done it because I have not called that function. So set significant figures for this number, and the number of significant figures would be the maximum of these two. Now let's see for the same figures what it gives. 43.4. Name number is not defined. Okay, this should be actually so let's say result is equal to first num plus second num. Okay, so we can avoid writing this multiple times. Result. So this would be result. Now let's run this. 0.2345, 43.4. Now name math is not defined. Or math we had to incorporate. So import math. 0.2345, 43.4. Float object cannot be interpreted as an integer where the sum is, oh, here I had tried this previously, so this round function is not required. Rounding has already been done, so we just have to call this function. 0.2345, 43.4. Yes. So as you might have noticed, writing the code the first time is much more easier than taking care of defects. Now that is one part. Now let's look at what other comments are there. Significant figures we have taken care of. So done. Done. Code is unnecessarily complex. We have taken care of that. Yes. So this is done. Code is unnecessarily complex. We have simplified this. Okay. Now let's do one more thing. Let's create a new file. Right. In this file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this set of functions, remove it from here and add it here. Yes. And here what I'll do is, first let me save this, and here what do I do? Here what I'll do is import my UDFs. Come here, save it, compile it. So just press F5. Now come back here and press F5. Name get number is not defined. First num sigfig 1, line 19, get number. Get number is not defined. File this again. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to give the complete. So this get number is there in my UDFs. Dot get number. Similarly, my UDFs. Now let's run this and see whether it works. 0.2345, 43.4. Yes. So which means that the code is unnecessarily complex. Simplify the code is also done, and repetition of code has also been taken care of. Comments at the top. Okay, yesterday we had also looked at in this particular exercise if and if else statements. So this also is taken care of. So whenever we write now any program where we need to accept a number, we can just import this file myudfs and call get number. So our main program becomes much simpler. I think you got the idea. Please practice this. Bye for now.